make that Trell face.
This is Make That Trail Face Radio. I'm your host, Trell Webb. And like I like to do with every show is introduce my guests before we start. Well, not only my guests, but the people behind the scenes before we start. Shout out to Clockwork Productions, Brian Halley working on the boards. Shout out to a new person working the cameras today because Cousin Chris was like, you know what, cousin, you keep waking me up too early, so I'ma just rest. And I'm like, cool, cuz, because you deserve it. So we got Taki Hadley in the building, and that's actually Brian's son. So thank you for bringing some more family in. Wait, hold on, and I got my sister behind the scenes, and she just came to observe what her brother got going on. So give them a round of applause, please. Thank you. And normally I always build a person up before I bring them on. This time I'm not gonna do it. I'm just get right to it. This is Danielle Mitchell, and y'all gonna see why I brought her along. She got a lot to say. This is the true thing of entrepreneurship, of social influencer, of YouTuber, and this person has built themselves up with all that. What she say on period. So give her a round of applause, real quick, Danielle Mitchell. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate that. So I want to give y'all a quick backstory on how we met. The person that built my website, that did my logo, Justerica, who I'm actually interviewing next week, she had a grand opening for her photography studio and everything. And it was nice. Everybody was networking and vibing and stuff. And I was doing some photography work there. And as I was walking, I'm just walking around, everybody eating, and then this girl's just looking at my logo, on business though. She was like, that looks intriguing. And I'm like, hey, how you doing? I'm just, being myself. Y'all know how I am. And we got to talking and everything. She told me, her spiel, her 30-second interview. I gave her my 30-second spiel. And from there, it was quite nice. Hopefully I gave off a good impression.
Yes, of course.
But I know she did. I follow her on Instagram at Danny's So Fancy. Mm-hmm. I got it right. Okay, cool. I don't want to mess nothing up because this is a person I definitely want to work with in the near future. So what it is that she does, well, matter of fact, tell everybody what it is that you do.
Yes, so for me, my background was in marketing. I went to school for marketing at the University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana, interned at L'Oreal, and then started my career at Coca-Cola. And during my tenure at Coca-Cola, I was able to be exposed to influencers and marketing campaigns and all these type of things, and I really wanted to create something of my own as well. And I really pushed that agenda to everybody. So for me, what we really focus on with my brand, which is Average Black Girl / Melanin Business, is we encourage service-based businesses. So if you have a service, if you're doing something, to create your own marketing collateral to actually monetize, grow, and scale without having to always hire a person. And the easiest way to do that is through digital marketing, digital products, and physical products that can go with your brand. So we help to create online courses, marketing tools such as workbooks, planners, and journals, as well as web design and social media templates and things like that to get you started. And I say that because everybody is an expert of something, right? And I think that a lot of times we feel like we have to have a PhD in something or 25 years experience in something to be an expert, and that's just not true. Change your target audience, right? Think of the you 5 years ago. What do you wish you would have known? That's what you're going to create, right? And so I've seen some of the most, what we would think of basic stuff, but it's a need. I've seen people make money on how to teach people how to knit and watercolor, to as drastic as how to build your financial wealth and accounting and planning and stuff like that. But we always think it has to be something super, super, super intense and in depth, and that's just not true.
Right.
Again, think of the you 5 years ago when you have a product. You have, if you're an accountant, you can create a financial planner for your audience to get them ready for tax season, and you can even niche down. Have one for personal, have one for small business, have one for S corps, and you can really keep growing. And now you have a collateral where you can upsell. if you're going to talk to people and do speaking engagements, how much money could you then incorporate if you're going to say everybody's going to get my workbook, right? So there's little nuances that can really change from bringing in $1,000 a month to $10,000 a month when you just really, think about it and niche down to what you're doing.
Cool.
And with digital products, it's really no cost for you, right? Yeah. Once you make it, you don't have to ship it. You don't have to do anything but just have it where people can purchase. So it's really one of those truly passive income things. I know that that's like a word that people are using right now, a buzzword, but it's something that it can really happen, and it can happen to us all. And I feel like that's just the narrative I'm pushing. You know, if you feel like it's too late for Black Friday, it's not. You can really put something together and have it selling, you know, in a couple weeks. And be ready.
Wait. See, y'all see how passionate she is about this, man. Like in some of her recent videos, she's like, I don't know why y'all not doing, like you could be doing this, and y'all see I just flipped this and made that, and call the birds, and you know what I'm saying? So all that's cool. Now I want to just break it down and bring it back a little bit. Where are you from?
So I'm from Lansing, the south suburbs of Chicago.
Okay.
Went to TF South, which is a suburb in high school.
Gotcha.
And then went to, like I said, University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana.
Okay.
And then when I started my tenure in Coca-Cola, that was where I left. So I worked with Coke in Orlando, Florida, gotcha. Miami, Florida, and then Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, wow. Okay. How was it down working in the South?
I love it. I love it. And honestly, I feel like when you're coming from the North, you just have that like get up and go, that gumption, and they appreciate it. So, I mean, if you feel like sometimes you do need to just move down south. I know they do like Atlanta's full. Atlanta got some opportunities.
Right, and it's good. I got my sister here. She over there smiling because that's exactly like the move she's been thinking about making. All right, so average Black girl. First off, you're not average, but that's your brand. So I want to know what made you come up with that name, your brand, Average Black Girl.
Honestly, for me, when I got to starting this whole process, I tell everybody, like, go to sleep next to a notebook. Yeah, because the best ideas come at like 2, 3 a.m. and if you wait until you wake up, you're gonna forget it. So I thought about it, or it came into my mind some night in February, right? And I didn't get everything trademarked until September. So that's the thing. I picked it because it was trademarkable. I own the trademark, so that's number one. Yeah. And when I first started, when you Googled Average Black Girl, it was very negative. Like it was a lot of like derogatory images about Black women and just craziness. And so I was able to, now if you Google it, it's a lot of my content, and so I feel like I've changed the narrative of what people use. Now, there's some good and bad. Like, I have had my pictures, like, used for other things because people Google Average Black Girl and they just take it, not knowing that, like, you can't just use my stuff. Like, but you know, I'd rather it be that than something negative. And so it was simple as that. And knowing marketing, you know, the search engine optimization, those are very popular keywords. So there's a lot of people that stumble upon you when you utilize ongoing words versus like making something, right? Like a Google, right? That's not a real word. They had to build that up. But it's a lot of people that create words and they're like, I can't get found on the search engine. It's like, well,
what's your keyword?
You got to do a lot of blogging to do that, right? There's a reason why people have websites and are talking about stuff, because you got to pick your keywords. So
we're gonna get to blogging, because I know you have your own blog as well too. Okay, so dang, it's so much. I have my cue cards ready and everything. I'm like, you know what? You doing what you do. That's perfect. So with that being said, you started Average Black Girl about 6 years ago?
Yeah, in 2016.
2016. Okay. When you came up with the name, and it, did you go right into your YouTube channel, or did you wait till it was trademarked?
No. So, and it depends. It depends. My lawyer. So I went with a lawyer. Don't do it yourself, guys.
Wow, y'all hear that? She came with a lawyer.
Do not do it. And so if you're one of those people, because a lot of people, it's a couple of things, right? And we're going to get into it, but there's nothing wrong with still working and building your business. In fact, I recommend it because it takes money to do certain things and to do it correctly. And I'm going to share some stories of why you need to do it. So the first thing is, for me, if I was to do it myself, I probably would have messed up. I don't even know if I would have gotten the trademark, because for words that are, again, already in use and stuff like that, I had to prove that I was already using it. And they wanted me to figure out the inception of the time that I trademarked it, that when I came up with the business. So I had to think of that February 9th. That's how I know it, because I had to write down like around the time that I used it. They wanted to already show that it was in use. So for me, I had to show, here's my website, here's my YouTube channel, like I'm already using it. Cool. So I'm not sure how it is for everyone else, but for me, the process, it took about 3 months for it to even get to the trademark office like lap and for them to look at it. And then I had to submit supporting documents that I was already using it. And then about 9 months later, I got it. So it's not a quick thing. It takes almost a year, to do it. And if they ask for supporting information, you need to provide that. So that is my story. Yeah. And now let's fast forward to why you want to make sure you have your stuff in order. So when I had my business, right, when I first started, my dad was like, I don't know if I really support this, but if you're going to do it correctly.
Because of the name, or just because he didn't want you like going to your own business? Yeah,
it's generational, right?
Right.
It's a generational thing. And so, and again, your parents may not be your best supporters until you start making money. And that's normal. And so you just got to kind of take it with the grain of salt. Like I always tell him, like, I'm very grateful for the start that you gave me, because I feel like I can really and truly operate in like that Maslow's hierarchy needs. Like, I'm at that self-actualization. I'm not in survival. Right, and it's because of my ancestors that I can explore and can do this. Yeah. But when you're in survival mode, like, you don't really look at the possibilities and everything. So it might just be, again, like a generational thing. It's really important to have a group of like-minded peers or people that are going through the same thing. But he was like, if you're going to do it correctly, do it. So he gave me $100 to open up a business bank account. Cool. And so fast forward now to like, the coronavirus, and everybody's getting the PPP loans and the EIDLA and stuff. And I was able to get approved for everything because I had legitimate business and legitimate paperwork. And it was a lot of my...
Shout out to Dad with the $100, y'all. Man. Yeah, okay, cool.
And it's showing years, right? Uh-huh. And even though maybe the first year I might have made like, let's say $8,000, something super crazy low. But every after that, I was able to double and double and double. So even if it's low, it's looking like there's growth. Uh-huh. So my business is one of those that it's easy for me to get loans. I just got approved for my Amex Business Platinum card, right?
On your social media, yeah.
But it's because you don't have to make $1 million to do this. You just have to show that you pay your bills on time. You have a history of working with vendors where you pay, and you have a high probability where you're safe. And so it's important to get those things in order. It may not make sense now, but when it was heartbreaking to talk to some of my peers that didn't qualify for anything, even though they had been in business longer than I had, but their paperwork wasn't together.
Yeah.
You can't be a side hustler. You gotta do the things in motion, because this was a once in a lifetime situation, right? Like, if you look, the pandemics only come once every 100 years. The last one was the Spanish flu in 1919. Right. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta really think about it. This is not coming back.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Okay, 1919, 2000.
And that, and then back then, Madam C.J. Walker was coming up in that pandemic. Okay. Like, when you think about it, it's like, okay.
If y'all, please follow her social media, because she does break this down of why, she does what she does. But not only that, just different stuff, like even how you spirituality, like you question things like Jesus being black. Like, those things that you talk about.
Absolutely.
Man, on period, like you said.
More
on
people
her social
need
media.
to get into it.
Tell everybody real quick, because I like to do this throughout the show. Tell them everywhere where they can follow me.
Yes, so you can find me on everywhere at Average Black Girl. So YouTube Average Black Girl, my website avageBlackGirl.com, and then my business Instagram and Facebook is Average Black Girl. You can also find me if you type in Danielle Mitchell. My personal website is danielleamitchell.com. And again, my personal Instagram, which is where I'm most active, is at Danny So Fancy. DANI So Fancy.
Cool. Okay. Your parents.
Mm-hmm.
So with your parents, with your dad,
Yeah.
being like so, like you said, a generational thing.
Mm-hmm.
They went to college.
Yeah, so both of my parents went to Simeon together, and they went to Illinois State University together.
Okay, and they. I know you were Delta.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I got it right because I don't want to offend no, sorority
Legacy.
You know what I'm saying? So, with your parents, were they also part of an organization as well?
Yeah, my mom is a Delta.
Okay.
And my dad is an Alpha.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I see y'all. And y'all all. Oh, this is the crazy thing too. Y'all all are D's, right?
Yes. So Dwayne and Deborah, and then Danielle. So.
And then
I have a brother named Dwayne as well.
Okay,
Dwayne
cool.
Jr. Mm-hmm.
All right, so with our family and my mom, she got her own twist in because she's an N, but we're all M's.
Okay.
So it's Markel, he's a senior, and then it's Martrell. I forgot my own name. Then it's Martrell, and then it's Marquita. So we all Mars. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And before my daughter was born, my mom wanted to keep it going. I'm like, we're not from Mars. I'm good. But I did name her after Maya Angelou, though.
Okay.
Like, you know what I'm saying? But I do a little twist on this Amaya with an A, apostrophe, and I'm like, no.
It got the little spin in it.
You know what I'm saying? So, all right, cool. How did, and I know everybody, I told them about Justerica. How did y'all come about? Like, were she's a client of yours, or
yeah? So this is and
that could be a quick story. I don't want to make what I'm saying too much.
And this is another thing, right? So once you determine what you're doing, right? I always tell people, like, before you spend all this money on branding and all that stuff, like, go sell something. Because if you can sell it once, you can sell it 100 times
Legally.
But so many times, people spend all this money, like thousands of dollars, and then they don't sell anything, and now they're in a state of desperation. And so basically, for me, I'm in that grow and scale mode. So once you figure out what you're able to do and you can do it well, then you want to start hiring people to take some of those tasks away, right? You don't have to be that only designer if you want to grow and scale, right? If you just want to be this like super dope creative that's like highly plugged and highly sought after, cool. But if you're trying to grow a business, I always hate that saying, we have the same 24 hours as Beyonce. No, we don't. Beyonce got a team.
Thanks.
So you don't have it.
All entertainers like have a team. You know what I'm saying?
Well, most people that have reached a level of wealth, they're not doing all that stuff by themselves. They're really just decision making, or project managing. So you want to do that. So I've used her. She's one of my designers, and so we
just her, not Beyonce, right? Right, cool.
Yes. And so for her, when I wanted to do my personal website again, I wanted to revamp it. I was like, as a creative, I'm never gonna finish it if I do it myself. So let me hand this over to somebody else, have them do it, and then I was able to still edit some things because I know how to do it, but it just needed to be handed off to someone else. Awesome. So that's how we got connected. But in every area, for my social media templates, I use 2 different designers. For my web designs, I use 5 different ones. For my book creations, I use another designer. So yes, I did the first one myself, but my role as a owner is to be doing things like this, right? Building awareness, signing contracts, getting proposals. Those are the things that you want to. Those are the things that you want to start doing. Being consistent and doing the leads, and then paying other people to actually do the work so that you can grow and scale, right? Because if I was to only do all the designing work, then there's a cap on how many I can do per month. There's a limit then on how much income I can generate. Wow. And you got to figure out what's important with like work-life balance, and what do you want in life? Do you want to be booked and busy, or do you want to be paid and like having a heavy stream of income but not overwhelmed? And that only comes to the process of growing and scaling. Now, it's important not to grow too fast and just waste money. So for me, it's a lot easier for me to bring on people when they're tied to money generating activities. Okay. Because a lot of people will be like, oh, I just want somebody to post on social. Well, if you're not converting, then it's not really something that I think you should give away just yet. Let's figure out what you can sell, so that when you're paying someone, let's say $100 or $200 to post, you're bringing in at least the amount to cover them.
Right. And you're big into monetizing, I see, as well. Like
Absolutely.
You help people on monetizing. One of the techniques that you use, I use for, and I used to call myself like a marketer for artists, a lot of hip hop artists, but yeah, that just got stressful. But one of the techniques that you use when it comes to like Facebook groups and stuff, was one of the techniques that I use as well. We're like following people, sharing their stuff, their links, and then bringing that traction, but also peeping when people are following you as well too. But that's just like one of the steps. To like, not monetize, but like growing your followers and stuff.
Right.
But with you having to do all those, wearing a lot of hats and then saying like, you know what, I can't do it. When did you realize that? Was it like a quick process or you was like, it took you everything? Because me, I wear a lot of hats and I do music production, I do editing, I do hosting, acting, directing, screenwriting. It's like, all right, cool. I do need to, sit back and be like, all right.
You need the team.
Yeah.
And so again, for me, it was the pandemic put a lot of things in perspective. So for me, gotcha. I always had a business, but I always consulted. So like some of my previous clients are like WeBuyBlack.com, Thank God It's Natural, which is like a hair company, a whole bunch of like tech. It's vast, right? And so that was always like a big stream of income, but it's me. And I like that. I like to call myself like the Gordon Ramsay of marketing, come in, tell them what they need to fix and then work with the plan to fix it. We're working with these people for 6 months to a year, and then we're moving on to the next thing.
Cool.
But when the pandemic happens, I lost 2 of my contracts pretty much immediately, right? Once everything shut down, they were like, we don't know what's going on.
Right.
And that happens, right? It's a part of working with small businesses, and it's a part of being a contract worker. You don't rely on that consistently. You just want to get as much as you can from it and then keep going, right? Because people get so like hurt and take everything so emotional, and it's like it's just business. And we can talk about that too. How people need to really determine or read social cues, right? We sometimes put people in buckets that they don't belong in, and then when you realize that they don't belong in that bucket, instead of just moving them to that other bucket, we are so emotional and like to be doing things out of anger. But anyway, with small businesses, that is a lot of times what happens, right? If the boss is in a bad mood and decides to just cancel everybody's contracts that week, that does happen. Those are the things that we don't really talk about. And so anyway, 2 of my contracts had ended, and I was like, I never want to be in this type of situation again.
Gotcha.
Where I'm relying on my income with someone else, right? It's not anything that I did bad. It's not anything that I did. In fact, it's a pandemic plus, again, a person running their business and determining what is important and what isn't. And if you're not in there, then like, what do you do? And you're a contract worker, so you really don't qualify for unemployment just yet. It was a lot going on. So I was like, moving forward, I will never put myself in this situation again.
Gotcha.
So let me figure out what products or what services can I create so that I can grow without this being an issue. Because I would go and get another marketing job, or I would get another marketing contract. That's going to happen eventually. Yeah. But what can I do right now to make sure that my business is generating income 365? And so my first product was my adult coloring book for breast cancer.
Wait, we gonna pause it on that. I don't want to tackle. We ain't gonna talk about that just yet, y'all.
But anyway, that's what happened. Like once you realize that, because contract work is good money, right? They pay you more because you ain't got no insurance, so you get a lot of money really fast, and it's amazing. But sometimes those contracts then end, and I mean that's what you sign. And for me, like, you can put into some places to kind of help yourself. If the contract is going to end, I need 30 days notice or 2 months notice. Like, you can put some of those buffers in, but a lot of times that's just not what happens. But that, if you're like me, like, again, once you figure out that one thing, then it's like, okay, let me now find somebody to do it as well. But you got to know what it is so that you're not being taken advantage of. So many people are like, I just want you to handle this situation or handle marketing or something. And I'm like, yeah, no, because that's how you get taken advantage of. I'm not going to take advantage of you, but once we're done working together and you bring somebody else in, they could be like, yeah, we're going to post on social media, and they're posting 2 times a week. Yeah, that's not going to convert. You know, but if you're not aware that that's not going to convert, then you're signing these really bad deals, and they're not taking advantage of you. You just are so ignorant in this one area that you don't know what is good and what is not.
Talk to them.
So,
my gosh.
And that's in any area, right? Accounting, finance, marketing,
music, like
managing. You want to make sure what you're signing is up to industry par. And if you don't have to be an expert in that, you can book an expert and ask them a consulting question. Hey, what do I need to do? I'm getting ready for this, and just pay that money for that. But you never want to go into a situation where you don't. And so that was my making moment. I was cool. I had to go into my savings to pay for my rent that first month, and I was like, yeah, this is not gonna happen again.
Okay, cool. And then, like you said, you got passive income or whatever. Well, not whatever, but you got passive income off of your coloring book. Okay, so we gonna pause it on that. We're gonna go to a quick intermission real quick. This is the Push the Music artist, artiste, artist. Or whatever. This is a group called The Little People with Weasel Sims and Jay Hayes. This is their song Power Check. And this is Make That Trell Face Radio.
Essa é pra quem gosta de beber. Andaraí o borel e o salgueiro.
Last thing we had to do to get what the fuck we get, you know? What the hell they thought? Nigga. Don't play with us, man. Hey, don't play with me. Do it. This shit mean, man. This shit mean. Yeah, like power check, you know what I'm saying? They ain't have enough of it or something. Don't get it twisted.
Hey, I heard they thought I lost it. Been running this shit so long, it ain't a bit exhausted. No Kevin Gates, bitch, I don't get tired. Don't get your shit fried. These bars come with a 30, don't make me let the clip ride. I'm from an era when you had to have a coke flow that's dope close to heroin. Marinate the flow, slow cook it till it's better than them niggas that you feel more relevant. Them niggas slow, keep listening to losers, you will never win. They say no man should possess all his power, but they know victory, my every outcome. Cut from a different cloth, I take off like Offset. Keep me a sweetie like Quavo. Me and my amigos sipping an A-ho, not no Jose Quavo. Zaza pack 6 different flavors, roll them bitches like bats. This a power check, you niggas is powerless. I do this shit in an hour or less. This that dope, look how I make the product stretch. Yes,
I'm reloaded, okay.
the heat's loaded, okay. Now we rolling, okay. Now he's folding. Them niggas didn't last on the path that we've chosen. Hard body, I'm 19, cold. Hey, sick.
Power check. These niggas is powerless. This what happened with money, respect, empowerment. This is empowerment. Remember when I used to move a pound or less, put down half on rent, then invest the rest as far as my talents went. But they ain't see the vision. But I ain't take it to the chest as much as they did when they seen us winning. I don't honor y'all, I can never bow to that. When it comes to our cause, I'm like Kaepernick, but I don't cap a bit. Take off my cap to all, like a graduation of those who never crossed the cause, like a Catholic. Most of my dogs never walked across that stage. They either got shipped across state lines or got lost in a county cage. God save me, I'm reloaded, okay. The heat loaded, okay. My weed potent, okay. Got rid of my KDs first like Oklahoma, okay. Now that's a OKC. Homer out the park, place your Mookie bets on me.
I'm reloaded, okay. The heat's loaded, okay. Now we rolling, okay. Now he's folding. Them niggas wouldn't last on the path that we've chosen. Hard body, I'm 19, COVID. Sick.
This is Make That Trell Face Radio, and we are back after that quick song. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And before I go any further, of course, I have to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, CG Essentials. They have a lot of grooming products, not only for men, but for women as well. If you guys remember Judy J from Bad Girls Club, she now opened up her own line with CG Essentials. And once again, I got like toenail clippers and all this brushes, beard balm, wave grease. I think, perfume and cologne as well. So, guys, please check that out. You can follow the link below and in the bio for CG Essentials. All right, so we're back. And I wanted to leave off on this because it's a lot of game that she about to put y'all on. And she's been putting me on even when we went to intermission. So, your coloring book.
Yes.
It's not any type of coloring book, y'all, where it's just rinky-dink old kids in there and trees and stuff that my daughter be playing with and stuff. This is an adult coloring book. And what does this consist of in the coloring book?
So for me, my first project, right? So this is right after both my contracts are laid off, and I'm just having a lot of time for myself because we shut in for closing for 3 weeks to flatten the curve. That turned into forever.
Right.
So for me, in January, I had went to this conference in Atlanta. It's called Traffic Sales and Profit, and I met this woman, Crystal Swain Bates, who is like the most well-known, I want to say children's book author / just Amazon KDP author that I've known.
Okay.
And so she talked about how under her name, she's known for these children's books like I'm a Pretty Princess and stuff. So I've seen them around. I just didn't put two and two together. Okay. But she was like, I also have an alias name. And so I have under that name, Journals for White Women. And, I have like Stress This and like all these things for adults because she wants to be known with her pen name as that, but then you have another name. And so she was basically like, it's not about you having to identify with whatever you're making. That's where we get caught up into, right? A lot of small business owners, a lot of minorities were like, well, I'm making this because there's a need and I would use it. And it's like, cool. But there's a whole world out there. So don't just limit to what you would actually use. Think about where there's a hole. And so one of my former contracts was a breast cancer survivor.
Gotcha.
And so during my time there, we did a lot of work in the community that year. So I was able to formulate my own relationship with this group.
Right.
And so I actually pitched it to her first, like, hey, I think we should do this for your brand. Like, let's do it. And like, she didn't want to do it.
Oh, snap.
Right. So now I'm like, okay, I got time for myself. I'm just going to go ahead and do it.
Gotcha.
And so I found some designers. I'm not an illustrator, but I like nice things. So I was like, this is what I'm looking for. I would talk to people. And for this one, I actually use non-exclusive images. So it makes it a lot cheaper to make, right? You can get some your own now. And I have designers that I've met to do that, but it was my first one. And so I got about 5 that were exclusive, though. 5 that I had created that had like the breast cancer symbols. They had like you were made to thrive and you're strong and you're built for this, like things that are very like specific to that industry. Yeah. But then I also had a lot of just different women. I wanted to just showcase all types of women because all types of women, unfortunately deal with breast cancer. And then I had like 1 or 2 men because again, like sometimes men have this ailment as well. And once I was done, then I had it, I picked the cover image, I had it colored in certain ways, and then I uploaded it to Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing, which anybody can do.
Yeah, and I just found out about that as well.
Yeah, and so Amazon will print, they will ship, and then you can either buy in bulk from Amazon and only pay the cost of the printing, or you can let them do all the printing and shipping, and then you just get a royalty check once a month. So that's how I started it. I posted it. I sold like 100 copies in like 1 month, and I was like, oh wait, this is like super lucrative.
On your first one?
Yes, in April, right? Because everybody's like, you should wait until October, and I was like, no, I'm gonna do it right now.
Round of applause, y'all, for her coloring book and 100 copies. That's like I want to say like around like 300,000 units for an artist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Just to hear that when it comes to a coloring book, there's you know, that's not everybody talks about that. That's not what I talked about a week ago.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, yo, I'm about to go in and get this coloring book. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, that's dope.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
And so after that, you know, people were like, oh, my friend or my aunt is going through it. I bought one for her. I'm seeing that now on social media, people that I don't even know are like posting it. And like, cause you know, in your book, you need to put, follow me on this, follow me on that. So they're tagging me and stuff.
Right.
And it became this whole thing. Then I was able to say, okay, again, now I have my virtual assistant. I went and got a virtual assistant. And I was like, I just need you to pitch to these different cancer organizations. So now, like, Cancer Wellness Magazine, like, sells it, and I just fulfill it. It was featured on, like, Sisters Working It Out. Like, they bought some to put into their care packages, and it turned into this whole thing.
Yeah.
But when you make products or when you put yourself out there, now other people are like, oh, you did that for you? Can you do it for me? And so I did my first one for a therapist. She was like, I want a stress relieving one. I'm like, okay, cool, I can do that. And while I'm working on hers, I'm also now, okay, let's go ahead and do a workbook, right? Cool. I'm an expert in marketing. Having a workbook, I think, really solidifies your name in that space of whatever you're trying to do. Because now I'm teaching other people, you know, I talk about digital products all the time. I've created my own courses and stuff, but now let me teach you how to do the same thing. This is where I go to buy my digital paper. This is where you can actually go ahead and download and buy my ebook template, so you don't even have to worry about the designing, just change the colors. Like, these are all the things that I've teaching you. This is where I use my course platform. This is where what I use, and it's broken it down. So for me, I started with the ebook, right? Let me see if people actually gonna want this before I go and do the whole shebang. Gotcha. And so for me, again, it's brand new in this space. People buy off of social proof, reviews and stuff. So I'm giving it for super cheap, like $9 if you get the ebook and leave me a review within 2 weeks.
You're a true hustler, dude.
After I got, you know, my reviews, then it's up to $47. Because it's a workbook. I'm teaching you something, right?
Yeah.
But now if you go, like, you can see the reviews on my site. Like, there's people that are using it. There's success stories because, again, I'm not new to marketing, but I was new to this area, and I know that that's what I needed to do. I just look at it as marketing budget, right? Yeah, I'm giving it for very cheap, but it's no difference than if I was to give it to an influencer or pay for them. This is part of my marketing budget. Versus most people are like, oh my God, like, if I give everything away, they won't use my stuff, or they won't buy me.
People
and it's like,
be worried about that.
No, the person that is going to only look at your free stuff was never going to buy from you ever. They were just going to find the free stuff somewhere else. They're going to either go to YouTube or they're going to do whatever. So you might as well just give that. The people that want me to do it are the payers, right? They're the people that, I don't want to do this. I just want you to do it. I see that you've done it. That's your audience, right?
You have a worldwide audience too, by the way. I peep. Go ahead.
Yeah, so once you change your mindset and it's like, well, I don't want to give anything away, to like, no, let me give it away so that you can see how I talk. Do you like the way I talk? Do you like the way I teach? Do you like my style? Do you like my designs? Like, I want you to know all of that before you buy with me so that we don't have any issues.
And you mentioned that people would go to all these other people that, they talk very loudly and like, oh, you can do this and they'll pay for it, and they still didn't get nothing out of it.
Yeah, the scammers and jammers.
Yeah,
they loud. Scammers are loud.
The scammers and jammers. People would go to them, pay all this money, but with you, it'll be, you know what I'm saying, you like, look, here it is, just so you get a taste of what I got going on. Then once you pay for it, then you gonna get the whole shebang.
Yeah, and again, that's the difference between people that actually are doing the work and the ones that is like a facade, right? Because for me, for the longest time, I wasn't super consistent on social media because I had work to do.
Gotcha, yeah.
I was actually doing the work. So, and you got to do both. You have to post daily on social media. I think 2 times a day, but that's neither here nor there.
You set time. I did watch one of your videos. You said having your set time because you had a person that was way in like a different state, and she was like, I'm gonna need for you to post constantly. Now I went back on your videos. I don't remember.
Seriously, no,
remember
and
all
people
these.
comment.
Yeah.
They comment like, "Where you been at?"
Yeah.
Or "I'm looking for it." Or on YouTube, you need to do more consistently. Like people that I've never met before, be in Florida, be in all these places, and was like, "You need to do better." I see it.
Yeah.
Just put it in there, and so it is important to be consistent. But again, if you are doing all the work and trying to post consistently and trying to get your 8 hours of sleep, like something's got to give. And so only when I started to build a team could I be consistent. Because again, if you're only on social media, then you're not doing the work.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
And so you got to be in a place that it's both. And again, if you're loud, if you're super branded and stuff, but you don't got no reviews, you can look at people's comments. Comments are always like limited and stuff. Like those are signs that people just don't really look at because they're like, oh, the website's super pretty. Well, yeah, I can pay for somebody to do my website. Right. But can you do it again? Or do you have a portfolio, right? Like have these important conversations with people before you get started. Oh, can you give me a previous client so I can go and ask them about you? Or, oh, do you have a portfolio of your designs and stuff? Like that part is just as important as you're growing. Because again, we're all used to, ordering something from China that was like too small or, the quality was bad. Well, we all got burned one time.
Right. Straight up.
And then you learn, like, oh, I ain't gonna do that again. If it's too good to be true, let me go look at the reviews. Like, let me go figure something out. Let me go ask in a group, has anybody used this? And so that's what people are doing.
Cool. I'm definitely following you on that one. So with the book, going back to the book, I'm sorry. I'm so in tune with this, and I don't even. Yeah, I'm going back in tune with that. So your coloring book, right? You do that, it's a success. Yep. People want you to do it for them.
And then I was like, I want to do more, right? So for me, I was like, okay, I know 2021 is going to be all about growing and working for other people. Yeah. So I was like, let me just work on my stuff first. So yeah, I had a couple of people that was coming in, but I created like 8 or 10 books in 1 year. Like I had a financial planner, I had her business planner, his business planner, self-development journal, manifestation journal, a prayer journal. Right. I had pretty much anything that I thought that I would use.
I was just about to say that.
I put myself in there. What do I feel like I need as a whole? Yeah. Let me go ahead and do that. And then I was able to then start putting myself outside of it. So I made a brown girl coloring book and I made a black anime coloring book. Because I know that, again, that anime group is loyal and they be paying. And again, there was a need.
Yeah, you do consider yourself a black nerd. I want to ask why.
This is true. Well, I just think that there's just not enough positivity about wanting to learn. You know what I mean?
No, I'm following you on that.
Like, people be like, okay, I'm done with college. I ain't going to ever open up a book. Like, that's not good.
Yeah. I stay with books. I love books.
That's not okay. Especially, like, so much has changed year over year, especially with technology. Like, what you mean you don't want to learn? Yeah. What you mean you're not going to keep up? What you mean you done? Like, I'm never...
What you mean you done?
Yeah, what? And so I get it. Like, I said it too. Like, I'm never going back to school. But then I went and took certifications. And now I'm always looking for certifications. More certifications equals more money, or again, being knowledgeable. So
talk about the certifications. I read your bio and I seen one that I had interest in. It was a small black association or small business or
So for instance, if you want to learn how to do ads on Google, you can get Google AdWords certified.
Oh, word.
Okay. And then actually go through their system, know what you're doing instead of just throwing money, and then you can also do it for other people.
Right, yeah.
Right?
And just make some.
And the certification doesn't take long. It takes about 2 weeks to study.
Oh, word.
It's about 2-hour test. Like, it's not long in those little things. Even Facebook Blueprint. If you go to facebook.blueprint.com, they have a whole learning library, and you can be Facebook certified. Again, for free.
Wait.
For
you can
free.
Be Facebook? I'm on live right now.
Yes.
Y'all can be Facebook certified on Facebook. Okay.
Yes, and you can learn how to do ads manager. You can learn how to, like, really understand what's going on.
How many certifications you got?
Off the top of your head? I don't know. Like, because I took, like, the Harvard Business School, so they had an HBX Core Readiness certification. Yeah. So I did that.
I remember hearing that story that you wasn't going to, like, really do it, and then the girl put it up again, and you was like, you know what? watch the company you keep. I think that was the title.
Yeah, let me go ahead and do it. And
wow.
it looks nice, and people be so happy because it says Harvard. So,
it
like,
ride
nice,
the wave. Right?
Ride the wave.
Dang, there you go. Oh, my God.
So, it's things like that. Like, there's so many out here. And then you can also, if you, again, don't want to pay a lot of money, you can go on Coursera, and you can take some classes from Darden, from, like, you know, from Cambridge, from places overseas,
Say
everywhere.
all of them, because even though I'm not affiliated with these people, it's still nice to know.
I mean, a lot of colleges and universities have put them up where you can take them for free. You can take them for low. Once you pass, you can buy the certificate, and you can just really refresh. Like, I think anybody over the age of like 50 that wants to still be in the workplace needs to go get, you know, a digital like training.
I got you.
You know what I mean?
So
you need to know these things.
With me, I did Allison.com, Allison courses or whatever. I was on disability. I broke my arm, but I'm like, I still want to be kind of active. I don't want to just watch Netflix all day. So I did ergonomics certification, and it was for free. And I just needed to print out the certification letter, or you know, the whole print for that diploma, pretty much.
Even Google has a program called Grow with Google.
Seen that.
And you know, go get Scrum Master certified. Go figure out how to, you know, do some coding.
Who do you be feeling like you talking to? Because you be so edit. Do you know a lot of people that just don't want to try? Do you feel like everybody don't have that type of drive like you do? Do you feel like people?
Yeah.
Majority of us do. Okay.
A lot of you can tell. You can tell. It's the people that always complain on Facebook. Woe is me. It's never great, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, one, it's the company you keep. Two, I get it. Everybody didn't come from the best beginnings.
Right.
But there are things that you can do, and a lot of people just don't know about it, right?
That's true.
It's not even because when I was talking to one woman who was like born super impoverished, like had a lot of like issues in her childhood,
right.
And she said there are all these organizations and stuff that help. She was in Inglewood that help, you know, the youth in Inglewood, and I knew about none of them when I needed it.
And that's why they started.
You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah.
It's very sad, but it's the reality. If I don't have no money, you think I got a phone to go and look online and see what's, you know, literally, like, it's a lot of things that we don't even think. Well, I posted on Facebook. Do they even have access to Facebook? Is their phone even on?
You back to the phone. Yeah.
Do people, or does your parent even know how to read? You know, like, literally, it's a lot of, like, nuances. So, again, awareness is the first thing.
Facts.
Do you even know what's going on? And a lot of people don't, which is why I spend so much time educating and talking, because I just act like you don't. Again, I'm talking to the me 5 years ago when I didn't know any of this stuff.
Cool. I like that you're talking to that person. What would you tell that person now? Like, would you tell them like, oh, I understand. We didn't know, Danielle, but we getting it together. What would you say to yourself 5 years ago? Community.
You can't do it on your own. You can't. And you shouldn't expect one person to provide all of your needs.
And you teach to them, when you say community, I exactly think of the youth. And you do.
No, I mean like our community. So for instance, for me personally, I have like at this point 3 different accountabilities.
Okay.
Right? I have one for the gym. And so we meet together Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Right.
And, you know, if we don't, we're at least communicating. That's one person, right?
Gotcha.
We both wanted to, like, get more active, so we both agreed to be that for each other.
Okay.
Then I have a group of about 6 women, and we all are, like, growing our business and stuff, and so that is where I can be more vulnerable, and I can talk to them about some of the things that I'm working on, some of my goals, and, like, you know, be open to share good news without feeling any type of way. Mm-hmm. Then I have another group for like personal life.
Right.
And again, there are different people in each of those things. I can't expect someone that's not in business to motivate me and like understand when they're not in there. And that's inappropriate for me to place that responsibility on them anyway. Right?
That. Wait, hold on. If you don't mind me, share with the audience, how old are you?
32.
32. Okay, cool. See, first off, you look way like Yeah, 32. Man, but yeah, you speak that ism. You are on it.
Yeah, so
On
it's
it,
that.
on it. Okay,
It's,
cool.
So,
Yeah,
so
the
community. You need help. You can't be on an island by yourself.
Right.
So
Speaking of islands, you travel to a lot of places.
I do travel a lot.
Man, you kissed a kangaroo. That just threw me. Why not a dolphin? You met a dolphin too.
I did kiss a dolphin too.
You did kiss the dolphin. Okay. Was the kangaroo named Jack? That's another. Nobody saw the movie. Okay. All right. So now I got some. You say you got your gym life. You got your personal life, and then it's the other community. What was the other one? I missed one.
Accountability. So
Accountability.
Yeah,
Okay.
so like the business.
Okay. Cool. So the community that you have for personal life, is there an average black boy that you have, or black man that you're dating or seeing?
I'm dating. I'm enjoying the dating experience.
There you
However,
go.
I'm gonna be like Issa Rae.
You're gonna be like, it's a Rae.
Yeah, pop up married.
Oh, just like that. Go ahead now. She's like, yeah, so this is
Right.
this is gonna be behind a question mark. Hey guys, how's it going?
Like, you ain't gonna embarrass me in
Yeah,
public.
yeah. Oh my gosh.
You
Okay.
ain't gotta take down nothing. Nothing was there.
All right. Once again, y'all, I'm interviewing Danielle Mitchell. Tell them where they can follow you at and everything.
Yes, you can follow me at Average Black Girl on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, as well as my site. And then also you can follow me on Instagram at Danny So Fancy, DANI So Fancy.
All right. Now I spoke about men real quick. When did you figure out that you have a man demographic or fan base? Because I know you one of the videos analytics, right? Okay, yeah.
Analytics gonna tell you exactly what it is.
Because I was watching your video on the you were doing a review on the Pretty Panty line or whatever. And you market and do a lot of things, and is very helpful to the person that doesn't know, because it has to do with the woman's cycle or whatever. And I'm like, wow, like nobody's just that bold to talk about that as entrepreneurs. You're doing it with like a lot of entrepreneurs that's like small businesses.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's great that even the reviews too, you like, all right guys, take a seat. This is one for the ladies. And I'll still watch the video. I'm like, well, I do have a daughter. Shout out to my. So when that times come, you know what I'm saying, I'll be like, it's some small businesses I can, invest in. And then you also talked about, the black banks that people can go to, and that's good and all that. Yeah, you're just very supportive with the black. And thank you for coming on to this black platform. That I got a lot of black people that behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? This is very much appreciated for your appraisal here.
Thank you.
You have any other questions for me?
No, but the one thing I want to talk about.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes.
I'm gonna just chill. I'm gonna sit back here.
So, and it happens time and time and again, and I think that a lot of people are dealing with it, and then they're not dealing with it correctly. So I really want to touch the point of understanding and knowing where someone belongs in your world. And again, placing them in boxes that they don't belong in, and then moving them as soon as that happens. So, for instance, I had one contractor who we've built a rapport. I really do enjoy working with her. However, a situation happened just this past week where we did a vendor, and so the money's coming. It hasn't gotten it yet. And when normally I pay when I get paid, right? That just makes sense.
Right.
However, she wants the money now. Cool. We have a business credit card. You got paid.
Okay.
However, I felt that it was unreasonable for her to want to get paid immediately, because there's been so many times that I've been lenient, right? So we have in our contract, if she's late on design work, she has to give back $100 per design. I never have received that money. I've never asked for it, right? Okay. I've just been lenient. I know things happen. It's cool. Like, that's me being lenient with you. I've sat there and I've educated her on business credit, right? Yeah. That's free consultation. It's free consultation. If someone else were to come and ask me, that would be $300 for a 90-minute session. I've given it to you for free. There are times where she's been needed to be motivated, and I've been her, accountability, right?
Oh wow! So that's and there's more. Oh my god!
So so there's that.
Yeah.
However, right?
Yeah.
You have a right if you want that money. You have that right. That's my bad, right? I take responsibility of overextending myself and not having the proper boundaries as I'm the boss and you're my employer or you're my contractor, whatever you want to say, right? I was being more of a friend. I was being more of a, I don't know, mentor. I was looking at you more as like my equal, and that we are two business owners doing this together. But when push come to shove, and granted, I was gonna just pay half. I was like, let me pay $250 right now, and then get back. So for essentially $250, she was like, nah, you have that right, but now we don't need to do accountability. You don't. Next time your projects are late, I'm going to ask for $100 back. I'm going to enforce that. And I'm no longer going to give you any advice outside of just working on this project, right? I felt away for 30 minutes, and then I responded back. I apologize for even creating the situation because I know that I pride myself on being amazing to work with. Yeah. This is why I felt this way, but now I understand that, again, this is the situation that I created for being too nice, or what I like my dad would say, you're too nice, right? And this is a situation where it came back, and if I was emotionally not unstable, but if I was to go my emotions, that could be a whole thing. I don't want to do more, blah blah. Nah, I'm not gonna do that. That's my fault. I have friends for this that we share. I don't need to be looking at that with you. Right. And moving forward, great. And honestly, it's a weight off of my shoulder because now I don't have to be so nice. I don't have to overextend.
Time is money.
And so you just move it to that, and keep it pushing. Yeah. And keep it pushing, right? Yeah, it's business. But there's the next book that I'm going to read actually is to further understand that, because I think that a lot of people do that and we get upset. Well, they wouldn't do the same thing for me, and you're right, they wouldn't. Because the situation happened and you wouldn't, right? Mindset, yeah. And so now that you know that, I feel bad? No, I gave myself grace for the day. It happens. This is a learning experience. This is also your first time having a vending situation. So it's not like this is new for both of us. Gotcha. And so moving forward, maybe I don't work with someone that needs it right now, because most people that work in government know when you get them contracts, the money's not going to come immediately, but it's going to come. It's always going to come, but it's not going to come immediately. You maybe you're not the right person to work on those things. We'll see when we get there. Okay. But it's a learning experience. But what it's called, the next book that I'm going to be reading is called Relational Intelligence by Darius Daniels. Okay. And so that really dives into that. I was talking to one of my real friends about the situation. She was like, "Oh, it happens. Yeah. Read this book so that it doesn't happen anymore." But like, and then she's like, "This is a situation that happened with me." And like personal, that I have moved person from like a friend but not, or what, vice versa, and boom, and it was fine. But my story is not uncommon, and as you grow, it's like a balance. Yeah, you want to motivate your team and make sure that you have like a nice work environment, but you also gotta people act different when you have money.
We have money and contracts.
Well, when they do. When they know that you ain't got nothing, it's like, whatever, you ain't got nothing. But when it's starting, it's like, no. And it's like, okay, that's inappropriate for me to extend so much grace. Yeah. Because I didn't know that it was a different. Also, it's not, as that situation, I'm also don't really need you in that situation to extend grace in that same way. Because I'm good over here. Well, no, I'm managing the money and I'm managing the contracts, not so much the project. And I'm project managing a bunch of people. It's just a different nuances in that way. Gotcha. And so it is what it is. I'm happy for it, and I'm also glad to talk about that. Again, those are things that we don't talk about.
I like to talk about it. Can I tell you my personal?
Go ahead.
And I actually never talked about this on my platform before, but I came up with a few artists that, we started off as friends, and it was a point where it's like, all right, cool. I've extended my hand, giving out, opening ear at certain situations. One of the artists I was working with, I even gave his mom my car for 2 years. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, like very, very helpful. Wow. You know what I'm saying? So, and then came time for me to do things like this on this platform, start acting, start getting my name out there pretty much. Yep. And there was a problem. And it's like, well, but I had to say, like how you say, accountability. You know what? I did do too much when stuff, first off, should have been on contract and all that. Because when it comes to music, royalties and residuals, and it comes to publishing, nobody wanted to, all right, get the publishing right with my name on it and all this. It's like, yo, what's the hold up? Like, what's the problem? It's a breath of fresh air now because I don't have to deal with that no more. And then like looking back, 10 years later, because when things get over like 10 years and I'm working with other people and I'm just like, all right, cool, man, I'm just kind of switching up. Like, all right, it's time for me to move around.
Yeah.
So I look back at 10 years ago and I'm just like, you know what? I'm, happy I'm not in that space or even working with those people.
Yeah.
And it's nothing but the best for those people because that's how they operate. Over here, we don't operate like that. I do need, my back ends, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I do want to do things professional because as artists and musicians, everybody look at us, or even entertainers, oh, you're not professional, you're nobody serious. And that's why I come on here and I talk politics, I talk music, I talk entrepreneurship, and people needs to know that. Like you just said, nobody knew about how to go to these courses and coloring books, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I appreciate you coming on. I did want to just say that. Any advice that you have for people in the entertainment industry?
Yeah, go and just to kind of close off, like there's nothing wrong with using people or being used.
Wow. Whoa.
It's when you are abused or they're misusing it, right? That's when there's an issue. Because that's the thing, like that's how people work. Like you scratch my back, I scratch my back, I may overextend, you may overextend at one time. There's nothing wrong with that. But just don't let someone abuse you. And so when you get that was my first red flag. Once I got it, you move it around and push it. You don't keep extending that grace, and now you're in a situation where you're being abused and stuff. Like, no, there's lines for it. So I think it doesn't always have to be like, so again, we never talk and you're blocked and all that stuff. Like that's extreme. And sometimes they do come for that, but a lot of times it's just you just move a person from one category to the other, you will be fine. And so that's like the word, right, that I want to take. Because, like, no, yes, ask for help. Yes, overextend. Yes, raise your hand if you're drowning. Now, it might come with complications. Sure, you can move the date back to the due date. Sure, you have that right. It comes with you also paying that money back, though. But there's nothing, that don't force yourself or kill yourself, but there are things and stipulations in there. So that's the only thing that I would say to people. Like, I don't want people to think, again, you need community, you need that. Yeah. But it's just when it's intentional community.
Okay.
Right? When people are aware of what they're signing up to. When it's reciprocal.
Gotcha.
That's the main thing. If things are reciprocal, you're in a good space.
Yeah, it's hard to tell me that as a man, cause we just be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying. You might got it. Then like the whole gym community, like, and then the whole accountability. That's so weird. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure that out as a man. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just cause we're not vocal. We just like, look, we gonna hang out, and then I have a problem to this person over here, and then the other person over here with business. It's very hard because it's like, yo, you good in business? Yo, man, so how you doing? Let's go hoop later on. Can you? But let me ask you that. Can I have certain people in certain communities in like more than one?
Of course.
Yeah, okay.
Of course.
Cool. Yeah. Still permission on that one.
Absolutely. It's just that, again, you just don't want, at least from my experience, you don't want one person to do everything. And that comes with a lot of like even relationship things, right? We want our one spouse to be all things, and that's a lot of pressure for one person.
Oh wow, we're talking relationships now?
Well, just in general, right? It just makes sense that it just makes sense that you hear like it's important to have a life outside of your partner. And I see what that looks like now, even just in the 3 areas that I decided to focus on this year. That would be so much to have one person be my gym, be my business, and be my personal. That's a lot of time for another person to handle. That's not my husband, right? That's a lot.
I like how you say, you know what? You're not an average black girl, like in this.
And I don't want to be that for someone else too. I don't want a girlfriend calling me every morning to debrief what happened. That's too much. Gotcha. I don't want to be that for them. So why would I want them to be that for me?
Okay, what's your horoscope?
I'm a Gemini.
Oh wow.
Everybody has a Gemini story.
Everybody has a Gemini story. Oh my gosh. Okay, this This explains a lot. Okay. Now, and this is good. Explaining a lot, by the way. But anyway, so yeah, once again, what do you have advice for people in the entertainment industry on their brands? Because I tell artists all the time, have a brand. Don't just come out here, I do a couple shots and that's a thought. You know what I'm saying? Come with an actual business plan. What would you say, for example? I'm an artist. I'm 17 years old.
Okay.
And I'm an R&B artist.
Okay.
I'm sexy, and I'm young, and I'm from a urban area. I'm from Chicago, and I'm just starting out. I'm doing a couple open mics. Where do I go from here?
How are you making money?
How are you making money?
That was the first question.
Hey, how are you making money?
How
So,
are you selling something? Do
right.
you have merchandise?
Cool.
Do you paint on the side? Like, how are you making money from your audience?
Gotcha. And then what do you?
Because most people say that, at least from the industry that I've learned, like most of your money comes from tours. Well, and you got to have a following before you get to tours. So it's a level to like where you get to that. How are you making money?
And are you building a followership? That's what I was just gonna say. If that's even.
Well, but followers don't always pay, right?
True.
Some people just follow you because they're nosy. That doesn't mean that they are your target audience, which is why I said, again, come back to what are you trying to make money from.
Cool.
And so, I mean, like, even Megan Thee Stallion got her merchandise.
Okay.
And she's been doing that for a couple of years, I feel like, even, like, before her
right.
release of her albums and stuff.
Yeah.
So, it's like, again, what does that look like? And then once you grow, like, start getting sponsorship deals and partnerships and things like that. But in the meantime, if you got to make $5,000 this month to pay everything, how are you going to do that?
Yeah. You got to come up with some type of solution.
And then break that down. So is that $1,000 a week? Are you doing some sort of launch? Like, what is the strategy for that? But
you gotta ask those questions.
Yeah, and I mean, and now you don't even need to. There's so many drop shipping that you don't need to do a lot of stuff. You can go make a Shopify store. You can go to Printify or Printful. Put some
that's what I use.
Put some merch on there. Cool. You can go to Alibaba and get some like actual items, and they will ship it for you. Like the technology has made it so easy. You don't have to have 100 shirts in your garage anymore. Right. You just have to have a nice design, and they'll print and ship for you. So
you just send it to them. That's what I do. When people go to my website and they say their size and whatever, I just got all that information, got their address, and then I go to Printful, and then I just send it out to them and whatnot. I like that you're giving out this cloth. This is so amazing. Once again, y'all, I'm interviewing Danielle Mitchell. We're actually going to wrap this up, but she is not, I know it's a stigma on average black girls. She's not an average black girl.
Well, there's nothing average about a black girl.
There's nothing wait, say that one more time.
There's nothing average about a black girl.
There's nothing average about a black girl. Tell the people where they can follow you at one more time, man.
Average black girl and Danny So Fancy.
Cool.
Yep.
Okay. So we gonna wrap this up, man. This is wonderful. I'm about to actually talk to them behind the scenes. I want to make that Trell face a coloring book where I can just don't color me orange, of course black. But yeah, we gonna talk about a lot of good stuff. I hope y'all appreciated it. Thank you again for coming. I hope you enjoyed the food we had behind the scenes.
Yes.
Once again, y'all, shout out to the team. Shout out to Brian Hadley from Clockwork Productions on the board. Shout out to his son, Taki, that he had to bring in by his ear. That's handling the camera. And shout out to my sister for stopping in. My brother had to go drop Maya off because Maya, I know how she is. And please check out City of Lights on Amazon Prime. It is now playing. And once again, this is Make That Trell Face Radio.
Make that Trell face.